So there I am, waiting for my turn at the dentist, trying to catch glances of the cute receptionist, nurse, hygienist, whatever. And there's a few people in the waiting room, so I'm looking around, and this lady next to me starts telling me this story about how she was on this boat on the way back from this island that has a lot of cats. And I guess the residents, there's a few people that live there, maybe 100, and they kind of take care of the cats, but they're all strays, so they just kind of wander around the island, and they have to do a kind of weird ecological balancing act to make sure the cats stay all fed and they don't kill off all the other animals on the island to throw everything into chaos. And so a lot of people go to visit these cats because they're used to people feeding them, and while they are feral, they don't run up and rip your eyeballs out if you get too close to them. So she was telling me about this one guy who was on his way back on the boat with her from this cat island, and this guy had these cages, and there were like several cages within a gigantic cage, like 3 by 3 by 3. So there was a lot of like 27 cages in this one big metal cage, and in each of these sub cages was a cat that he had taken from the island. And no one really asked him what he was doing. They all just kind of assumed that he was some kind of a cat expert, maybe some kind of cat veterinarian that was donating his time to take a small sampling of the cats from the island to test them for some kind of disease or something. And so while they're sitting there talking about the cats and showing each other all the pictures they've taken of these cats, this guy started telling her about how the cages reminded him of some guy he knew in college that had a bunch of cages in his basement, and he would keep people in these cages, and every once in a while he would bring one of these people out to help him do his household chores, like maybe do the dishes or mow the lawn in the backyard or wash his car or help him write an English paper. And I don't know where he got those people from. Maybe he got them on Craigslist, because you can buy pretty much anything on Craigslist. One time I bought a basketball from a guy on Craigslist, and when I went to his house to pick him up, he had a whole garage full of basketballs, and they were all used basketballs. None of them were in the boxes that they came in. And so I thought the guy was maybe some kind of a basketball thief, and he would just go down to the playground and steal basketballs from people, which I thought is a kind of an interesting way to make a living. And so the guy with the cages told everyone that he was a vet, or he was doing some kind of research, but halfway back on the boat, he just tossed the cats over into the ocean, and the cage sank because it was made out of very heavy iron, and all the cats drowned, and the people on the boat, of course, were horrified. And so what happened after he tossed those cats overboard is the people on the boat surrounded him and started beating the crap out of him. And this boat was also a fishing boat. Sometimes the captain would take people out fishing. Sometimes he would drive people back and forth from the mainland to Cat Island. And because it was a fishing boat, he had those clubs on there that people would beat fish to death with when they would land a large fish and it was still flopping around on the board, and they wanted to kill it so it wouldn't break anything. People grabbed all of those clubs and beat this guy to death and threw his broken, bloody body over the railing into the ocean, where he kind of floated around. And then fish came and ate him, and I guess he ended up getting disappeared by the fish. And so my turn was called at the dentist, and I went in, and I did notice this before, but that receptionist had a wedding ring on, so I didn't ask her for her phone number. And turns out that I have 3 cavities, and I haven't really been to the dentist in a while, so I'm not really looking forward to getting them filled, because I don't like dentists. They drill your teeth and it hurts.